Oh man, let's go. All right, man. Let's take a look at this right quick. Listen, man. I've been trying to figure out all week, man. I've been trying to figure out all week to find some positives out of what happened on Sunday. I haven't really found a whole lot. We still have a lot of drama that's going on. Still have a lot of drama that's taking place to figure out this whole mess. Jerry Jones hasn't looking a little shabby. Uh, Jerry Jones hasn't made any decisions yet, any moves yet, and it's up in the air right now in terms of who our next coach is going to be. If there's going to be another head coach, you may be still stuck with Mike McCarthy. I do know one thing: it does not look good for Dan Quinn. No matter. It doesn't look good for Dan Quinn. And if somehow Jerry Jones ends up keeping Dan Quinn and firing Mike McCarthy, it's going to be a carousel. It's going to be a mess. A few things that I've learned that I've already known. Let's put it like this. I already knew that when I saw the defense come out to play that Sunday, I knew something had happened the night before because they were spent, they looked tired, they was not ready to play this game. And a lot of that goes to the coach, and it finally came out that Sam Williams and Devontae Turpin put out a video. From my understanding, from the Dak Attack brother. This is from my understanding. I don't know how true it is, but I tend to believe that it is true based on how they played. They played like they had an orgy. This is what I posted in my podcast before, and this is essentially the same thing I'm saying now. They played like they partied the night before. They were tired. They were exhausted. They had no energy. They had no fight. Let's be real. They were spent. They were spent. They were spent the drive. I would say the first drive down the field after the Green Bay Packers scored. They were spent. Okay, they were done. For all intents and purposes, they were through. And then it was evident. Something happened. Something was going on. Nobody really knew their assignments. It was just a mess, man. You just can tell. You just can tell from the body language. It wasn't the body language of a group of guys that was pumped up to kick some "you understand me." That wasn't the case. So now we're hearing reports that this is from the Cowboy Wire. Allegedly, 3 Cowboy defenders likely to follow Dan Quinn if he leaves Dallas. Based on what I saw, and and a whole plethora of other Cowboy Nation fans. Based on what I saw on this past Sunday, oh well, bye. Then maybe we can get some players in here that can follow instructions. Maybe we can get one thing about it. I'm a biblical man, and I had a 90-year-old professor that posed a question, which said, "Why did Noah's Ark float? What made it float? What was it?" Of course, we had a lot of guys that were saying a whole lot of different things. Well, he gave us an answer I don't think that a lot of us was prepared for, because we was trying to give a deep psychological, spiritual, motivating answer that would move heaven. But the answer that we gave was not the answer that we was expecting. And it applies to this same thing. The reason why Noah's Ark floated was because they followed instructions. They followed instructions. We have a lot of guys on this team that don't know how to follow instructions. And one of the ones that I mentioned, Sam Williams, 54. He was at the party. The same one that we've been talking about that does stupid, bone-headed things over and over again. Week after week, Sunday after Sunday, he's going to do something boneheadish that eventually cost the Cowboys yards every time. The last time was, what was he thinking? Was he still partying? Was he still hungover when he ran up on the return kicker to get a 15-yard penalty assessed to the kickoff? And the number of countless things that he's done before that. I mean, we need players that is going to be astute to the game. Players that's going to be disciplined. Players that's not worried about stats. But players that are students of the game, and they're going to execute the game plan Sunday after Sunday. And when we get to the playoffs, they're taking it to another level. And if they continue to do that, they are looking to say, when we get to the Super Bowl and when we win the Super Bowl, then we're going to party afterwards. Now, you know, you got a lot of haters and a lot of people because we put up a lot of media. We put up a lot of memes and things of that nature. But I want you to understand something for those that view my podcast. I shoot straight from the hip. I ain't going to sugarcoat it. I ain't going to cry about it. I'm going to tell it to you like a T.I. is. And there's a lot of people that will say, hey, man, you know, stop crying over this and that. Well, it's not crying. You know, and one thing that I've learned about certain people is certain people just don't like to hear the truth. Some people like to sugarcoat it. You know? They like to sweep it under the rug. There's no sweeping it under the rug. It's either you're going to fix it, you're going to clean it up, or you're going to get out the house. One of the two. Take your pick. One of the three, shall I say. Sweep it up, clean it up, or get out the house. One of the three. So, the Cowboys have a lot to clean up. Everybody wants to put the blame on the quarterback, which is unfair. Granted, Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions. Gotcha. The guy only threw 9 interceptions this year leading up into this game. He threw 2. Trying to make a difference in the team, trying to put it through a tight window, 2 tight windows. Hey, he's been doing it all season. Nobody complained about it when the plays was working, but when you have players who are lackadaisical, who are not prepared for the big stage, this is what you get. You're not in the right spots. Quarterbacks don't throw to the man. they throw to the spot. And the receivers know this. So we're not going to put this on the shoulders of Dak Prescott solely. Yeah, does the 2 interceptions. Yeah, we got that. But at the end of the day, guess what? Minus the 2 interceptions, we still getting our butt whooped. So this is what we're up against. We got to figure it out. I don't know who they're going to bring in. You got the Troy Aikmans of the world upset, rightfully so. We don't know what Jerry Jones is going to do. There's questions circulating whether or not we should bring in Bill Belichek. You know, I will say this for certain: Bill Belichick has, if he comes to the Cowboys, he will have a hell of a team than he did at the Patriots. And I would definitely be comfortable with Bill Belichick coming in to put his stamp on this defense with a no tolerance policy, that you won't be partying in a wild card game, talking about victory, whatever it is that they was partying over. There's no victory in losing. You are a loser, period. You got punched in the mouth. You didn't stick and move. You didn't bob and weave. You didn't counter. You didn't do nothing. You just took the whooping, took the beating, and you sat down like a little kid with your tail between your legs and didn't know what to do, didn't know how to defend yourself. So Bill Parcells coming in, Bill Belichick coming in with this defense and this mindset that the Dallas Cowboys have, I'm with it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Jim Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh is a hard-nosed quarterback as well, and he's stern. He's a disciplinary as it relates to being late at the team meetings, slothfulness. You bring a negative energy. You're missing assignments. You don't know the plays. You're doing bonehead mistakes. I'm not going to tolerate that. Mike Vrabel is not going to tolerate that. All the head coaches that they've mentioned, they're not tolerating that. And so we'll see whether or not Mike McCarthy is going to be the coach that it will lead this team to the promised land, Super Bowl next year. And I can't believe we're talking about Super Bowl next year. I can't believe that we're couched already next year. But guess what? Reality says, yeah, you are. You're sitting at home with Philly, you're sitting at home with the Giants, and you're sitting at home with the Commanders. So guess what? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. See, I'm a realist. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I call it ace, a spade, a spade. If you're coming to play some football. And let me say this, in the defense, in part of defense of Mike McCarthy, I like what Bill Parcells said a long time ago. Bill Parcells said, it is not the coach's job to get this team ready to play football. You are a football player. You should be ready to play football on Sundays before the whistle blow, before you get up in the morning. You ought to be hitting your head up against the lockers, getting pumped up, getting jacked up, ready to go play some football. It ain't the coach's job. Coach's job is to prepare you in terms of schematics. It's not his job to get you prepared emotionally, mentally, and physically. That's your job. Yours. Your mama's job is to get you prepared for the test and examination. It's your job to take your hind parts to sleep. It's your job to study. It's your job to get up there at the test and get the paper and put your name down correctly, date and all that. And then it's time for you to take your examination, and it's time for you to pass it. Your mentality, your mindset. You can't be a class clown. You can't be an idiot in class acting like a fool and think you're going to pass this exam being the class clown, the mascot. That's not going to get you to pass. Studying is going to get you to pass. Being prepared, being astute, having the right number 2 pencils ready to roll, that's what's going to get you to pass. But this team needs a general. And this general needs to be able to put Jerry Jones in check so that they can do what they need to do to win the next game, the next season, consistently moving into, dominating all the way through. We don't have time for the Cowboys to be a regular season tournament team like the LA Lakers that won a tournament that swear that they are. This winning of the tournament is another notch in their belt for a championship. Nah, we forget all that. We need you to get to the playoffs and dominate the way you did in the regular season, and then get us to the promised land. Period. Hell, Danny White got us to 3 NFC conference championship games. 3. He didn't get to the Super Bowl, but he got us to 3 NFC conference championship games. See, I'm gonna call it like it is. I'm not gonna skip around and whatever. Whoever is at blame is at blame. We still trying to figure out and find out what was going on between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. That information still ain't came out, but I hope that they got it together. One thing about it, everybody's talking about get rid of Dak, get rid of Dak, get rid of Dak. Dak ain't going nowhere, man. The Cowboys is not going to eat a $60 million contract. A $60 million hit. They're not going to take that. Trust me. And you can't put Dak on the you can't put the franchise tag on Dak. That ain't gonna work. You can't do that. So you got Dak got the Dallas Cowboys by the nuts. He got them by the balls, and he can do whatever he want to do. He doesn't have to eat it. They still gonna pay him. What they gonna do? Release him? No, they're not gonna release him. They're not. So we stuck with Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. All right? Who are you going to replace him with? Name one. Who are you going to replace him with? Nah, you're not. So at the end of the day, you know what? It is what it is, man. And the Dallas Cowboys will be in the driver's seat again next year, because they're going to come back with the same team. Now, what I will say is they definitely are going to have to address some major issues in the draft. I haven't studied the draft yet. I will get a chance to look at the draft and see who we should go after, who are the strong suits in the draft, i.e. our major positions are going to be, I'm going to say, running back, number 1. Number 2, we need some big bodies on the defensive line. All right? And number 3, they need to address the opposite side, the flanker. They need to address that flanker position on the offense, opposite side of CeeDee Lamb. They need to address that, because that was a position that was highly missing. When the Dallas Cowboys was in their dynasty years, they had one big receiver on the right. They had Michael Irvin in the X. And so this is what we're missing. This is what we need. This is what we need. A fast, big 6'4", 6'5" receiver that can run, that can stretch the defense, that can put the defense on their heels, and you got to pay attention to him. You got to double him. That will single up CeeDee Lamb. That will single up Michael Gallup or Carr if we decide to keep him. That will also allow whoever is the running back, and I would dare even say if it is Pollard, that's going to open up a hole for Pollard to do what he do, because the defense got to pay attention to this 6'4" brother. They got to pay attention to this guy that's taking the top off the defense, and he's running like a stallion down the sideline or in post routes, killing them. So that's one issue that they need. Those are some of the issues they need to take care of. Now, they need to take care of strong safety. They also need to take care and get us a backup for said Stephon Gilmore or Trayvon Diggs. We need a bona fide good corner in the event that somebody gets hurt, because nobody thought that Trayvon Diggs was going to be hurt for the whole season. That's another issue. Although he likes to bump and he doesn't tackle and he doesn't wrap up, he still was a missing presence on the defense for our team. Now, that doesn't excuse Bland, that doesn't excuse Jordan Lewis, and it doesn't excuse Curse and a whole lot of others that look like pure D garbage on Sunday. Look like some on Sunday, period. I call it ace, spade a spade. Now, the Dallas Cowboys got to get to work. Now, if they decide to move on from Mike McCarthy, which I, in my humble opinion, I don't think Jerry Jones is going to move away from Mike McCarthy. I don't. 12-5, he ain't going to replace that. You got to be careful who you're going to replace 12-5 with. And I don't see a whole lot of people out there that can replace 12-5. Now, be there as it may, Bill Belichek didn't have a roster that we got, and that could make a difference. But since Tom Brady, he ain't been that dude. And so you got to take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, guess what? Mike McCarthy was 12-5. I think, to my humble opinion, now that I look at it, pay attention to what was taking place, now I'm able to sit back and digress. Listen, I look at it and say the Achilles heel for this year, off and on, even when we played said teams where the offense had to carry the defense for a number of weeks, that there has been an issue with the defense, and I've been saying that from day one. There's an issue with that defense, and Dan Quinn, salute. It's time for you to go, my brother. So if you had a defense that would have showed up against Green Bay and gave them something, we would have won that game. You would have won the game. Period. Okay? Period. Hands down. But it is what it is. I'll be back again to talk about this draft, who I think in terms of running back we can go after, nice receiver that we can go after. Let me tell you one thing, man. I love Fergie. If we had a dog all year to be named Fergie. If we can get some dogs like Fergie, another receiver like Fergie, another some DB players like Fergie, some defensive line players like Fergie, and we have to address the Tyron Smith situation. If you situation. That's what it is, an if you situation. Because if he comes back and if he's healthy, and there's a whole lot of ifs when it comes to Tyron Smith. We got to address that. We have to address the Tyler Biadasz situation, because Tyler Biadasz is a penalty machine, just like Sam Williams, a penalty machine. And we got to get somebody in that position that's going to hold it down. That's just my take for right now, man. It's not a rant. This right here is real deal. I'm not like some of these other cats, man, on social media and their blogs and platforms that's going to skip over certain details. It is what it is. The bottom line is that we stunk on Sunday. And the defense was the catalyst. The defense led the way. The defense set the tone for the stanky place. They should have opened up the top. They should have reeled the top back to let that funky smell up out of there, because it was stinking. You know, that's my point. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Hey, listen, man, this is my time. I'm going to come back a little later. I would say about an hour or two. I'm going to look at a few things, and then I'm going to come back, and then we're going to see, man, what we got in this draft that's coming up that we can be proud of, to look forward to. Some good news, man. Some good news is better than some bad news. And so, hey, man, let's do what we got to do. Let's do what we got to do to make it happen. Cowboy Nation is the best nation, as I always say. Listen, man, I'm trying to get to that place where I can get close to 50 likes, close to 50 subscriptions, and it is difficult to get there, and I can use all the help that I can in order to make that a success. That's for sure. So, hey, man, like the page, subscribe to the page. You know what I'm saying? You might not like me. I don't know why you wouldn't like me, because I'm going to tell the truth. It is what it is. And what I've learned about a lot of people is a lot of people do not like for you to tell the truth. And that's just the bottom line. Amen. So that's just the way Stone Cold said it. And that's just the bottom line. They don't like the truth. And that's it. But you know what? Hey, I'm here, and I'm here to stay. So, hey, man, let's just get to where we need to get to. Hopefully next year we'll be just fine, man. And how about them Cowboys? And it's a rough one. It's a rough one, man. It's a rough one. It's rough, brother. It's rough. But hey, man, hold tight. I'm coming back. Woo! Cowboy Nation. Still the best nation. We got a lot of work to do. Here we go!